Hey guys, what's up? Lumpy Ice Cream here, and today gonna be doing the WrestleMania review. Decent show. I'm gonna start off by saying that definitely a step up from last year's WrestleMania, but I feel like I have to give last year's WrestleMania a pass because a lot of their guys were injured. Here, they had a lot of their talent and not necessarily used them. The build up to this WrestleMania has just been appalling. It's really been dreadful. Also, I don't know what's going on with my webcam at the moment. It looks a little dim. I don't know what's going on with it, so I'm just gonna roll with it. I'm gonna start with the kickoff show. I don't know why. I'll just give my thoughts on the matches because I don't watch the pre-show. Personally, when the show itself is like 5 hours long, I don't want to fucking deal with a 2-hour kickoff show. I really don't. Now I'm really fucking bummed out here that they've put the Cruiserweight Championship match on the kickoff show, because it just goes to show what they think of the Cruiserweight division. They've got their own show, but I don't know. I just feel like the Cruiserweight division's just there because people have been bummed out that it hasn't been there. Like, they did the whole tournament thing, and that was good, the Cruiserweight Classic. But I don't know, it's just the division, it feels like a flavor of the month thing. Some guy comes along and he's the biggest hit, and then fuck him off for the next guy. That's why I'm hoping Neville keeps the championship for a long time. I think just keep the belt on him. Honestly, I'd say keep the belt on him until, I don't know, the end of the year, I'd say, ideally. Build him up as, king of the Cruiserweights, because a lot of people have said this as well, it's not just me, it feels like he's revitalized the division, in a sense. It got interesting when he came back and did the heel turn. Which I wasn't on board with at start, but he's really grown into that role. So yeah, the Cruiserweight Championship match was on the kickoff show. Neville versus Austin Aries. Now this is what worries me, because Austin Aries is getting another match at Payback. I don't know why, but he's getting another match. So hopefully it's to extend out the rivalries. Hopefully, that's what I'm hoping. Have long-lasting rivalries within the division, and not just I beat you, move on kind of thing. I just hope that Austin Aries, nothing against Austin Aries, he's good enough, but I just think keep the belt on Neville for the meantime. So yeah, I can't comment on the quality of the match, but yeah. Now, here comes one of the fucking biggest pieces of shit that has ever touched WrestleMania. Mojo Rawley winning the fucking Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Now, apparently, Sami Zayn was scheduled to win it, but they bailed out at the last second when they got this fucking buddy of Mojo's, they got the green light for them to do the run-in, and it was changed last minute, before the show. That's gotta fucking suck if you're Sami Zayn. I mean, I can't believe they went with that decision, because there's not going to be a push out of it for Mojo. He wasn't even on the SmackDown after WrestleMania. I mean, I don't remember seeing him, at least. Come on. I think he was on this one just gone, but what he did, I can't remember. Like, it's not going to turn into a fucking push for him. And also, they're pushing him, and I know Zack Ryder's injured, but they seem to be giving a bigger push to him. But it's the way that happened when Enzo got out for injury. They kind of pushed Big Cass, but then stopped when Enzo came back, which is probably the right thing to do. You want to keep them together for a little bit. I want to see what they can do as a heel tag team. I think that would be kind of cool. But with this tag division, you can't afford to turn anyone heel, because most of them are. But yeah, not just Mojo Rawley winning, but Jinder Mahal. Like, that's how you disengage an audience. Right there. As your final two, Mojo Rawley and Jinder Mahal. Fucking stupid. The two big guys, Braun Strowman and Big Show, are thrown out real early. Like, oh my god, how can they be this fucking stupid? Like, if it was to have a shock ending, then surely there's somebody on the roster who could have done with a win better than Mojo fucking Rawley. Because the moment Zack Ryder comes back, they're just going to put him in that shit tag team again, and it's going to hold both of them down. And this is what worries me, because I think, and I will always think, Zack Ryder is the biggest wasted talent that they have right now. He can do incredible things. He got himself over, and the WWE have just not bothered with him. Him winning the Intercontinental title last year at WrestleMania was legitimately one of the most surprising and heartwarming moments that I've ever witnessed. I cried watching that. It was a moment that I had been waiting for, and then to see what happened the next night on Raw is truly one of the worst things to happen in recent memory with wrestling, WWE wise anyway. Such a missed opportunity. And with the way that they seem so adamant on pushing Mojo Rawley, do you really think that should they decide, alright, we're going to split up the Hype Bros, do you think I mean, they might just do it quietly, like they kind of did with the Lucha Dragons, but I can see them deciding to turn Zack Ryder heel. And that is not going to be a fucking good thing. It blows my mind why they would have genuine talent like Braun Strowman, Big Show. This is his last WrestleMania. And, you know, yeah, I know a lot of people wouldn't want Big Show to win, but it'd be a nice send-off for him to win it a second time. Braun Strowman needed it a lot more than Mojo. Yes, it's an obvious choice, but it's the obvious choice for a reason. These fucking battle royals, it's always the way. Because they have every fucking jobber that they can get in the battle royal, so you're all like, okay, well yeah, this person's gonna win. It's just makes no sense. I think I can't remember if Baron Corbin was an actual shock. I don't know if anyone was shocked by him winning, but I'm just baffled by why they decided to do this. Anyway, let's move on to Dean Ambrose versus Baron Corbin, which is on the pre-show. After the build-up for this match, they should have had some sort of no DQ street fight like they did on SmackDown. I don't understand why it wasn't, because Baron Corbin legitimately tried to kill Dean Ambrose. It just needed it, and nothing. Now Dean's fucked off to Raw, and Baron's still on SmackDown, and he's gonna get lost with the fucking crowd now. And that's a shame, because I think Baron Corbin should have won the Intercontinental title. I know that's a lot of title changes at this WrestleMania, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, you know? it makes for an interesting dynamic, I think, anyway. Now we get to the actual show. AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon. This match has no right existing, quite frankly. Let alone to kick off the show. AJ Styles deserves so much better. Basically, here's the guy who had a really great, successful title run. John Cena comes back, demands a rematch for no reason. AJ Styles has beaten John Cena 3 times. Okay? John Cena does not deserve a title opportunity after being gone for however long. And then when he came back, he kind of teased the heel turn thing. And I'm like, okay, cool. Address it. Yes. Awesome. But it went fucking nowhere. John Cena's still the same fucking John Cena. And it was just basically lazy writing. Why does he deserve a title shot? And they want to throw away AJ. AJ is the poor one that fucking... It makes you think, was he just like... Did they only put the belt on him to lose it to Cena? But it doesn't fucking matter, because Cena loses the belt in 2 fucking weeks. You barely remember the fact that he's just broken... Or not broken, but tied Ric Flair's record. That's the thing. Ric Flair accomplished that. And I'm not the biggest Ric Flair fan. I'm going to admit that. But he did that accomplishment over an entire career. John Cena's done it in what? 10 years? Little over 10 years? It doesn't compute, because half of those title reigns were lucky to go past a couple months, probably. A month, maybe. And then here he is, the one that breaks the record. They just did it just to do it. And in wrestling, I just think that's the worst thing you can do. That's the laziest thing you can do. Instead of making a storyline, you do it just for the fucking sake of it. Then he loses the belt to Bray Wyatt. And, oh, that was such a shocker. That was such a shocker. Everyone fucking saw that coming. Because Bray Wyatt, we'll get to that. We'll get to that shit. We're going to focus on this. But AJ Styles has gotten lost in the mix. It's good to see that he's at least going for the United States Championship, but quite frankly, he is more than that. More than that. But let's see what him and Kevin Owens can do on SmackDown. But this match, it was obviously just to get AJ on the card somehow, because obviously, if you'd heard the rumors, they wanted Shawn Michaels to have a match with AJ, which would have been great, but Shawn Michaels is an actual person who respects the fact that he's retired. Unlike pretty much any other wrestler who's retired. And is staying, so he's staying retired, which is probably for the best, but I think, you know, nowadays people just expect it from retired wrestlers to come back and have another match, so, you know, it's really odd to find one who says, no, I'm not coming back for another match, I'm retired, I'm done. But this match, it went for what? 20 minutes. That's about easily a good 10 minutes too long. Easily. They could have shaved time off of this and added it to another match. I don't think for a single second Shane could have went with, you know... I just think that just keep Shane to do what Shane does. I think what would have been fucking awesome is have an interpromotional match with Finn Balor. We know Finn Balor was... active because he returned sometime in March, so you know he's active, and he came back the next night, so I don't understand why they couldn't have brought him back and have an interpromotional match with AJ Styles, or even have Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles. That would be fucking great to see. You know, like, build up the fact that the big four pay-per-views are co-branded. You know, that both brands are on that show. And I think the only time they ever really did that was Kalisto versus whoever the fuck was the champion, the cruiserweight champion at the time. Was it Brian Kendrick? I can't remember. That's how forgettable the cruiserweight division is. But yeah, this match was nothing special. There were no kind of holy shit moments. Like, that's basically what a whole Shane McMahon match is based around, and it was more of the same that we've seen. Nothing really special from Shane this year, sadly. So, you know, I just think it was a match that was unnecessary. Shouldn't have started the show, though. AJ deserves a lot better than to start the show. And a 20-minute match at that, it was just too long. I wasn't a fan of the match at all. Then there's Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho. This match lacked something. And I understand there's a problem with making a lot of the matches like a no DQ, but this possibly... I don't think you needed a no DQ to necessarily make this match amazing, but I just think it was missing something. It kind of ended really... And it's a 16-minute match. It just kind of ended... It's not a memorable match, and I think it really should have been. You know, this storyline had been building... this storyline probably has the most build-up out of anything on the card, and they kind of just wasted it, truth be told. Moving on to the Fatal 4-Way Raw Women's Championship match. Bayley picks up the win against Charlotte, Sasha, and Nia. Massive, big missed opportunity. Now, see, the Raw Tag Division and the Raw Women's Division are very similar in the sense that it's dominated mostly by heels. There's not a lot of faces on the roster at the moment. And a lot of people want the Sasha heel turn, and I can see why. But I think at least until... or if Paige returns, keep Sasha face, because you can't afford to lose faces in this division. Who else have we got? Alicia Fox. No, she's heel now. See, that's how unforgettable it is. She's with Noam Dar or whatever the fuck. I don't know. I'm lost. But, you know, there's Summer Rae. I don't see her being a face. I don't know why. They could, but... who we got? Mickie James just came in. You know, I just think they need to build up the face side more before they decide to turn Sasha heel. But it was a decent match. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. I'm glad it didn't go too long. I think it went for the right amount of time. Bayley winning with the elbow drop. That was nice. I think that was a cool moment. I just think the final two should have been Bayley and Sasha. To just have it be Bayley and Charlotte was just the wrong decision. Like, give us something new. Give us something the WWE fans haven't necessarily seen. If you're a fan of NXT, then you would have seen this match. And you know how great those two can be together in the ring. And I just think that to see that at WrestleMania would have been absolutely fantastic, and they didn't do it. And then we come to one of the moments that is probably one of the most exciting things that I've ever seen. Now, if you haven't watched the reaction that I uploaded with me and my friends, you'll know my friend Nat, if you've seen it, was very excited to see the Hardy Boys. Now, basically, a little bit of backstory. She kind of stopped watching wrestling around the time Jeff Hardy left. That's when she stopped. When he left, she just stopped watching it. She's in absolute love with the Hardy Boys. She loves them. And she kind of started watching around Survivor Series time, which was when Ryan wanted to watch it as well, because he loves Goldberg. So they kind of started watching again, and that's why they're watching it now. And of course, you know, we're all aware of the rumors. We were all aware of the rumors that the Hardy Boys were re-signing with WWE. The last I heard was in May. They were going to, like, come back in May. So this was a huge fucking shock. Now watching, like, all of the reaction videos, pretty much everyone knows it's going to be the Hardy Boys. Like, which just makes me feel a lot more stupid for the reaction that was that I had. But nonetheless, it was a huge fucking shock to see them back. Now, see, I kind of knew the New Day weren't going to be the fourth team, but I was expecting the Revival, which they had their awesome debut on Raw, but yeah, I was expecting the Revival. I was not expecting the Hardy Boys whatsoever. Now, you could say that them winning the titles really diminishes the club, but I don't care. It's the fucking Hardys. I hope they get the rights for the broken gimmick, because I want to see what WWE can do with that and what they're going to do with that. I believe the issue now is they're trying to figure out who actually owns the rights to the broken gimmick, whether it's Matt Hardy himself owns it or TNA. I think that's the issue. I'm not exactly sure. But that's basically why... Now, see, they're kind of... Matt's doing broken things. He obviously has the white in his hair, and he has a few of the quirks of the broken gimmick, but he's not broken. But this match was pretty good. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to say. It was just a real decent match. Obviously, you know, ladders involved, the Hardys. It was just meant to be, basically. It was really, really good. Then there was the John Cena and Nikki Bella versus The Miz and Maurice. This match was, you know, I'd heard rumors about the whole proposal thing. I didn't actually think it was going to happen, but it did. That's basically all I can say about this match. It was neither here nor there. So yeah, now moving along, Seth Rollins versus Triple H. This match could have been... It was a 25-minute match, and it felt like nothing. Okay, I correct myself with the whole thing I said before about the Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho thing. This feud has been building for years. Since Rollins turned his back on the Shield. That's when these seeds were planted. And it just wasn't a satisfying payoff. I think what would have been really cool is, and this is what I thought was going to happen, was when Steph got put through the table, Seth makes a comeback, beats up Triple H. Samoa Joe comes out, starts beating the shit out of Rollins, and that's when Finn Balor comes back. And it didn't happen. And I was kind of let down. I think that would have been a huge, awesome moment with Finn Balor coming down and beat... Because it didn't make much sense for Samoa Joe, Triple H's destroyer, to not come to Triple H's aid. It was... I just was really let down by this match. It just kind of felt meh. But anyway, moving along to... Speaking of total and utter horrible matches, Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt. This match was just dreadful. What the fuck were they thinking? So Randy comes down on a snake thing that doesn't look like a snake, and it looks really crappy. And then Bray Wyatt pulls some Willy Wonka shit. Like, okay. I think what would have been better is... Now, there's some debate going on as to whether Luke Harper should have been the one to beat AJ and then go on to WrestleMania. I think it would have been cool, personally, if they had built it up a little bit. But because Luke Harper got a pretty big pop when he did turn on Bray Wyatt and went to do the Sister Abigail. So I think it would have been a really great match to see. Because all of a sudden people were like, oh cool, Luke Harper's actually fucking awesome. I think he probably could have done it. But here's what I think should have happened. So, you run with the whole Randy relinquishing his Royal Rumble opportunity thing. You run with it. So then you get to WrestleMania and you have a nice, awesome, hard-hitting match between Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. And it's getting to the end of the match. Bray Wyatt is going for the Sister Abigail. He's doing the upside down thing. Punt kick to the fucking head. Randy Orton grabs the mic, says, you know what? I want an opportunity at the title because I won the Royal Rumble. Pins Bray, 1, 2, 3. Here's the new champion. I don't have a problem with Randy kind of lurking in the shadows, but you got to make it seem like he is a Viper. He waits, he lurks in the shadows, and then strikes. And I think that for him to say, I'm not gonna fight you at WrestleMania, to then the next week burns his fucking house down. Massive jump in logic. It was just... It wasn't good. It really wasn't. And to do that to Bray Wyatt, who I think that him winning the title was so well deserved, and they could have done remarkable things with that, but they didn't. They really didn't, and that's a shame. Now moving on to Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. Just a nothing match. Really nothing. This whole feud makes zero sense, I might add. So, they have Goldberg squash Lesnar at Survivor Series. Okay. For some fucking reason. It diminishes Brock Lesnar. He doesn't look like a credible, liable threat anymore. 2, you have him get eliminated from the Royal Rumble and not go on an absolute madman rampage. I just think what should have happened is Brock comes down, eliminated by Goldberg. Brock loses his shit, goes back in there and beats the shit out of Goldberg, throws him out. That sets up Goldberg's MO to have the match with him at WrestleMania. Because he doesn't need to. Why would Goldberg need to have that match? He's already beaten him twice and eliminated him from the Royal Rumble. Now, Brock Lesnar is still behind. But he's got one match against him. It makes no sense. It really does. And the match wasn't even that good, truth be told. I think they just should have had a real hard-hitting match which made both men look good, and they didn't. They didn't. And it was fucking awful. It was really bad. Anyway, moving on to the 6-pack challenge of the SmackDown Women's Championship. You can tell why this match was on the kickoff show. It felt like a kickoff show match. But fans got angry on Twitter or something. I don't know what the deal is, and the match got bumped up to the main card. Problem with that is they didn't bother to make it a main card style match. And it was just 5 minutes of... literally, Naomi wins the title. Cool, okay, awesome. It was just a nothing match. There's not much more to say about it. And then we come to Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker. Now, for those of you who don't know, The Undertaker is my all-time favourite wrestler, and in my opinion, there has never been, nor will there ever be, a better WWE superstar than The Undertaker. He's always been there in WWE since he debuted. He never went to WCW, never went anywhere else. He's stuck there for 26 years. Almost 26 years. The man has done so much for the wrestling business. And to have him lose his last match to Roman Reigns, and for the WWE to think that this is in some way going to get Roman over, they're wrong. Now, a lot of people are in agreement here that the only way that this should have gone down is if Roman turned heel. And it was looking like that was going to happen until this Raw just gone, where he's talking about how much he respects The Undertaker and how no one could prepare for ending The Undertaker's career. And now they're taking him off TV for what? To let the heat die down on him? It's not going to die down. If anything, it's going to make it worse, because now he gets to go and relax at home or train or whatever he wants to do, and gets to have some time off because he's not getting the reaction he's not getting the reaction from the fans that management want. This is the problem with Roman Reigns. I never had a problem with him to start off with. It was the fanboys being whiny is what the whole situation with Roman Reigns is, or was. Daniel Bryan got thrown out of the Royal Rumble, so the man, of course, who wins it, booed out. The same thing happened to poor Rey Mysterio. Comes out number 30, and everyone expects him to be Daniel Bryan, and it's not. And then the fans turn against him like that. A man who the fans have loved and adored for however many years, and they turn on him just because he's not Daniel Bryan. You see what I mean? But recently, Roman Reigns is becoming so stale, and it just is infuriating that they refuse to turn him heel. They're just not listening to their fan base. And to show that lack of respect to your fan base, it's not a fucking thing that you should be doing. How many times are they just going to keep trying to have Roman do stuff and just wonder, why in the world? Like when they took him out of the 2016 Royal Rumble. He comes out number 1 and goes and does his thing, and then the League of Nations come out, beat him up, and instead of throwing him over the top rope, they just drag him out of the ring, put him through a table, and he gets to go back and rest for however long, and then come back out later. They're protecting Roman Reigns, and they shouldn't be. Why do they need to protect Roman Reigns? And his matches are so basic. He takes probably 90% of the offense in a match, and a couple spears and Superman punches later, Roman walks out the winner. It's fucking dreadful. I don't understand why they couldn't have stuck to... Yeah, I understand why Finn Balor didn't come out in the Royal Rumble. He was originally going to be number 30, but he wasn't cleared to compete. But they didn't fucking start this shitty feud until Raw after Fastlane. The build up to this match has been fucking awful. Like, legit, I fucking hate it. So, Roman Reigns comes out and eliminates The Undertaker from the Royal Rumble. WWE think this is a fucking good idea. They're wrong. Then, for no reason, Undertaker shows up. No, sorry. Braun Strowman calls out Roman Reigns. The Undertaker comes out. Braun leaves the ring. Roman comes out and says, "Yo, he wasn't talking to you." It makes no sense. Why did The Undertaker not show up at Fastlane and cost Roman the match? That would have had genuine stakes to it instead of just, here I am now. And looking back, there are so many points where The Undertaker's career could have ended and it would have been better than this match to send off on. And for such a legendary career to end on this note, it's infuriating. I'm not going to lie. If you've seen the reaction, you know I cried my eyes out. Because, and even though I knew it was happening, my friend spoiled it for me. It was still, you can't think of it, like, you can't put it to words how emotional that moment is of The Undertaker, you know, saying goodbye. It's a surreal moment that everyone's been speculating on it for however long. I want to say since maybe WrestleMania 28, I'll say. Every single year, The Undertaker's last match, The Undertaker's last match. And despite that, you never think it's going to happen. You think every single year he's going to come back. And now, potentially, we've just seen the last WrestleMania with him on it. And that's weird. I don't want to think about that. And it's just this match. This is the match that they choose. They could have passed the torch on to Finn Balor. They could have, had a match with AJ Styles. They could have done things. The Phenom versus the Phenomenal One writes itself. Samoa Joe. They have countless people on their fucking roster who would have made a better opponent to end The Undertaker's career than Roman Reigns. The only thing Roman Reigns has to gain from it is a heel turn. And they fucked it. They have fucked up that opportunity. And look what Samoa Joe could have gained from that. Samoa Joe could have been shot into the fucking stratosphere. Stratosphere? You know what I mean. It would have been such a push for someone like Samoa Joe or Finn Balor, or have a WWE Championship match with Bray Wyatt. Reignite that feud again that had potential. Just something better than this match. Because it's really like when you are so invested in a television show and you're watching that show and you're loving that show and they get to the season finale and it sucks. It's dreadful. It's awful. You hate it. That's what this is. To see a legendary career that has survived so much. There's been not many, but a few storylines that The Undertaker's been through that were downright terrible. But that man has worked and worked and worked his butt off for WWE And why Roman Reigns? That's the thing. I just don't understand. I really, really don't. Like, did they know that Roman was going to get heat from this? Because if they didn't, they're fucking stupid. And I'm going to blame Vince McMahon. But whoever thought it was a good idea and that Reigns would totally not take any heat from this is a failed businessman and should probably retire from being a businessman. Because it is not a smart business decision. I can't comprehend it. I legitimately cannot. That a few weeks ago we just watched the end of a legendary career, and it was ended by Roman Reigns. And they're completely fucking it up. I just don't know anymore. I've lost all hope that the WWE are going to write Roman Reigns in a positive manner. They're not going to find a way now to get him over. Any shred of hope that they had is now gone. I think honestly, realigning the Shield, bringing the Shield back would only make people hate Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, and those guys are over as fuck. I sincerely think it's gotten to a point where that's going to happen. If they bring back the Shield, people will turn on the Shield. I will pretty much almost guarantee that. Nothing now is going to save Roman Reigns. They've just made sure of that. And I don't understand why they didn't take that heat and run with it. WWE have just fucked themselves. And if they haven't, then they can go fuck themselves. The match was... it was decent, I'd say. I probably would have been a bit more invested had I not known the outcome, but whatever. It's still infuriating even after a few weeks. And I know the WWE keeps saying, oh, we might have just seen the last of The Undertaker, but come on. Come on. I know that last year he left his gloves in the ring, but this he did the full glove thing, the hat, and he even went and kissed his wife, and that is the last of The Undertaker. I don't think he's coming back anytime or at all. I think we've just seen the end. So, you know, all I can say is thank you, Undertaker, for a fantastic career. And you know, I think a lot of the reason why I love wrestling so much comes from The Undertaker. And I think that when... I mean, it doesn't compare, but when me and Discom do our little play fighting thing, a lot of the offense I use is modelled after The Undertaker, because, you know, he's the greatest professional wrestler, I think, and will always be the greatest professional wrestler. He's got he's got charisma, and that's weird considering he's a dead man. He can wrestle, he can constantly reinvent himself, and I mean, I'm not going to lie, and I'm really going to hate saying this, but this year, he didn't look healthy. He didn't look well. It's like we had the WrestleMania 30 Undertaker back. Remember how heartbreaking it was to see him not just lose to Brock, but look weak while doing it, because obviously he suffered a real concussion during the match and couldn't really do much, but it was hard to watch. And then he made a phenomenal comeback the next WrestleMania and had a really good match with Bray Wyatt. And then I just don't want to talk about the WrestleMania 32 match. It shouldn't have existed. It should have been a different opponent. But, well, just to see it end like this was just heartbreaking, Anyway, I've rambled on for 3/4 of an hour, so all in all, it was a decent show. I think I'm really analysing it and going into it has made me kind of soured on the show, I think. Highlights, I would say, obviously, Undertaker's... Well, it's not a highlight, but Undertaker's retirement being so perfect, like the whole thing after the match. It's got me emotional just thinking about it. That is a highlight. The Hardy Boys returning, huge. I'm glad I didn't know about that. And really, I don't think there were any other moments. Everything else just kind of left me feeling angry, confused, or just kind of meh. I didn't really get into this WrestleMania. And looking at the card, I can't say there was an absolutely amazing match on this card. There just wasn't. And the potential. This WrestleMania had so much potential. And they just found a way to make everything seem... Like, I would say the best match on the card would be the Hardy Boys, the tag team ladder match, and that's just because the Hardy Boys came back and the sheer shock of that. Because AJ Styles, Shane McMahon shouldn't have happened. Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho was underwhelming. Bayley, Charlotte, Sasha, and Nia, again, it was decent, just nothing special, and they kind of botched the ending, what with not having Bayley versus Sasha, and actually turned that into something. Again, the tag team match was good. It was a real decent match. But that shocking moment just blew it up for me. John Cena, Nikki Bella, and Miz and Maurice couldn't give two shits. Seth Rollins and Triple H had the potential to be so fucking awesome, and they ruined that. Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, same thing. Exactly the same thing. Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, again, same thing. The SmackDown women's match should have stayed on the pre-show. This is a pre-show match. Shouldn't have fucking bumped it up to the main card. The Intercontinental title should have been probably on there, or the Cruiserweight, truth be told. And then Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker. Okay match. Not worthy of sending off a near 26-year career. Just not worth it. Not worth it at all. Tons of different opponents that could have happened. Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, just to name a few. And it's sad that we're no longer ever going to see those matches again, or for the first time. Any of those would have been suitable, I think. Personally, I would say AJ would have been a better match. The best match of those two. I know people want Finn Balor, but I think if you kick Finn Balor and Samoa Joe and put them into the Triple H match, and then you have AJ, you get rid of the AJ versus Shane, and you have AJ versus Taker, that would have been absolutely, not just that, but you could do a flip reverse of what they should have done, where they should have had Roman turn heel and use that heat. You should have had it to turn AJ face, if that makes sense. You have him come out and say, I feel so honoured that I was the one who got to have the last match with The Undertaker. And you build up the respect that he has for the wrestling business, because, you know, you get the sense he is a man who has such respect for the business and all of that. And I think that they've been trying to get him heel, they've trying to get him over as a heel this whole time, and it's not really worked. We're sort of seeing the implements of a face turn. No, I'd say his face. Yeah, his face now. I forgot about the SmackDown just gone. But I think they could have just gotten so much more out of a different match. I'm not going to keep going back to it. I don't even know what to score this WrestleMania out of 10. Worst match on the card. I can't pick. I actually legitimately cannot pick, because all of them are disappointing, pretty much. There's some decent matches. I wouldn't say there's anything fucking phenomenal, but look, let me know what you thought of this WrestleMania. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you just kind of feel let down by it? Because I definitely did. But I don't know. I'll give it a 2, truth be told. Maybe, no, okay, I'll give it a 5, and that's purely because of the Hardy Boys and The Undertaker. That's it. That is all that it gets. And all of the mediocre moments kind of getting together and putting another point on. I don't know. So yeah, I'll go straight down the middle, 5. I don't know. It's really got me indecisive. But yeah, guys, let me know what you thought of WrestleMania. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What are you looking forward to in the future of WWE? Payback's coming up soon. That's going to be... See if I can hold on to my predictions championship. WrestleMania was good for predictions. I only got 2 wrong, and that's because I know some people did pick Mojo Rawley, but come on, are you serious? Like, come on. Fucking hell. And I refused to pick Roman Reigns over The Undertaker. It was as simple as that. Those were the 2 points I missed. Also, watch out, we'll be debuting a loser belt. Probably for Nat. She's not that good at predictions. So yeah, let's see if I can hold on to the belt for another pay-per-view. But yeah, tune in for Payback. I'm not sure when that is. Is that next? I'm going to say it's next Sunday. Seems like a safe bet. So yeah, not this Sunday, but the next. I'm going to say that. Monday, sorry. Monday here, Sunday, America. But yeah, guys, let me know what you thought of WrestleMania. If you agree with me, please let me know. Who would you like to have seen The Undertaker face? Or did you think Roman Reigns was a good choice? Because you're wrong. No. Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, all that cool shit. And I shall see you in the next video. Till then, take care. Farewell.